like this video if you liked our commentary here and you liked our picks. Comment if you think there's a better movie, or if you're on like a mobile device or even on your computer. Why don't you give us your top 10 as a comment? We'll engage with it. You don't have to give your reasons. All you gotta do is just put in your top 10 or your top 5. What was your favorite movie of the year? But also subscribe to our channel because we are hoping to get more content like this, get our views up so that way we can make merch for you guys and do more of this often. What is up, guys? It is your boy Jay here from the Movie Minute.
Chantel, as always, of course.
And we are doing the top 10 movies, each one of us, for 2024. And based off of what we had compared to the last one, whatever gets the highest amount in our list, if we do have movies that overlap, will be what we consider to be, on our personal opinion, the best movie of 2024.
Let's go.
So this is, for me, a lot of movies that are sequels or part of a franchise, but I've got ones in here that surprised even me that I liked enough to make it an original movie up in the top 10, I will do an honorable mention, though, before we start, because these were movies that were really good, but they just quite weren't up to the 10th level,
Right.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was, for me, a letdown a little bit from like the previous like trilogy, but it was still good. So it just barely scraped underneath the 10.
Nice.
You have any that you don't think will quite hit your top 10?
Yeah, I had two honorable mentions, but now I got three because you did mention Planet of the Apes. I totally forgot about that, but I totally feel the same way that you did. Like it was good. They went in a different direction to me, at least, and I enjoyed the film for sure. But I didn't walk out of the theater like, okay, like this is what I wanted. But that's one of my honorable mentions. Another one is Abigail. I really love the movie. I love vampires. I actually want to be a vampire. At least they can walk around during the day. But and then Dune 2. Like it was good. I had like super high hopes for it. Um, but it just didn't make my top 10. Not like, oh my God, like this was in the top 10. Yeah.
I'll do one other movie that didn't quite hit my top 10. Inside Out 2. I really
Okay.
enjoyed it. I never watched the first one in theaters, but because I told myself back then, I'm like, I'm not going to go see this kids movie in theaters. And then I watched it on Disney Plus like 2 years ago and went, this is fantastic. This one doesn't quite hit the same emotional levels. It makes me cringe
Mm-mm.
more than it should,
Right.
even though that's the point of it. But still, like, it just didn't quite hit what I was hoping for a sequel, I guess.
Right.
Um,
I agree.
but it was still good. Um, my number 10 spot, because we're going to go ahead and start this off. My number 10 was A Quiet Place Day 1.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I really enjoyed A Quiet Place. I didn't love it as much as the first two. I did kind of expect us to get more story of what these aliens were, even though it was only on the first like day or so of the invasion.
Right.
But I did enjoy the characters quite a bit more than I thought I would, and it actually almost had me tearing up at the end when I
Okay.
realized like the whole how the story was ending type of thing.
For sure. I forgot all about Quiet Place day one. Just to speak on it, I think part one and part two is there for me. Hopefully they bring me back with part three. But part one was just I don't know. But okay, that was your 10. My 10, believe it or not, is Terrifier 3. Like I,
That didn't make my list at all.
I really enjoyed that movie. And I based my list off emotion, of course, and like how I left the theater. And based off how I left the theater with Terrifier 3, like I really enjoyed it. And I actually had to catch up on the series. I had to go back watch part one. I watched part two. I didn't watch like the short film, whatever it was called, like the Eighth Gate of Hell or whatever. I didn't watch that, but Terrifier 1, Terrifier 2 got me on board for Terrifier 3, and I actually enjoyed Terrifier 3. So that's my 10 spot.
So I actually didn't have, like, when I said I didn't have that on my list, I mean I didn't even put it in my list of movies.
Right. In general, no, right.
I think it's because I fell asleep through like half of it. I don't know. I think another reason it wouldn't have fit into the top 10 for me is just because I didn't enjoy it as much as the second one. I felt the second one was like a better movie altogether.
For sure. I had my gripes about part 3, but we talked about it. As a matter of fact, check it out because we did a review on it. But yeah.
My number 9 spot, and this one actually kind of hurts me a little bit because I would have liked to have seen it higher up on my list for movies, is The Fall Guy. I absolutely enjoyed the story. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are just they have such chemistry, I feel like, in this movie.
Yeah.
And I just like being able to see a movie where they're making a movie, like the behind the scenes on how stuff works and the like ode to all the stunt performers and everything. I just enjoyed it. And it was a rom-com, which I didn't expect it to be.
For sure. I enjoyed it. I don't have it on my list like at all, but I did enjoy it. As a matter of fact, I watched it twice. My 9th spot is Smile 2. I enjoyed it way more than the first one. And as a matter of fact, with me watching Smile 2, I know, of course, everybody else knows there's going to be a Smile 3. I'm looking forward to Smile 3. I actually tried to go back and watch Smile 1 because Smile 2 made me feel so good. And I still like really couldn't watch Smile 1.
We both absolutely loved Smile 2. We both hated Smile 1.
Right.
And I don't know if I ever figured out what's so different about the second one that made me like it more.
I don't know. Me too. That's why I tried to go back and watch part 1, and they kind of had like not necessarily similar beats, but it was kind of a similar movie because I thought I saw things in part 2 that I didn't pick up on part 1, like it wasn't in there, but it was actually in part 1. But I was like, I think it was the character, bro, and I think the pace of the movie, the characters, and I love music, so they had music in part 2, and it was that whole aspect. And I don't know, I think the leading actress in part 2 was more appealing than the actress in part 1.
You know what I think it is? I think it's because it shows us into a world that we kind of know exists, but not like to that extent that actual pop stars go through, like, or could be going through. Whereas the first one, it's just some random person who was a who had abuse as a kid and things like that, and trauma. Like, they're both about trauma, but one's more easily, I guess, you're able to latch onto a little bit better.
Right. Because I'm not gonna say no one like sits around and be like, oh, I wonder how it feels to be like a psychiatrist. But it's a lot of people that can relate to music, and you're like, oh gosh, it's like an insight to the pop star world and her trauma and the pills and all this other stuff. So I think it was more relatable for part 2, and it just brought you in, or at least brought me in more.
I also think it was just bigger stakes. You knew what would happen if it took her.
Right.
What it would mean for another movie.
Which it did. But yeah.
My number 8 is Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Really?
Yes. I loved it a lot more than I liked the third one. I thought that both characters felt more on brand with what they were in the first 2 movies. And besides, part 3 doesn't have a Reggie. That scene is fire. And the way they move the camera and stuff, like it's almost like the camera itself is a character,
like almost Call of Duty style.
And I just enjoyed the cast a lot more this time around.
Okay, gotcha. I don't have it on my list, but I could definitely talk about it. The only thing I think the reason why I didn't make my list is because to me it was definitely better than part 3, but I didn't like the role reversal, like the way they made Will Smith's character. Like he wasn't he wasn't Mike Lowry in this movie. He was second guessing himself and doing all this other stuff, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way they did that. But clearly, it's going to be a part four, so we're gonna see
Part 5.
where that for
Because this is
part
the fourth
five.
one. Mm-hmm.
Part five.
Actually, part 5.
Right. So we'll see. I'm gonna still go and see it. I'm gonna still support the film.
I saw it
But
twice in
my
theaters.
I only saw it once. But my 8 is Deadpool and Wolverine. And it's because I was looking so forward to this movie, and my initial watch, I was like, "Oh my god, yes, loved it." But then the more I started thinking about the movie, the plot, and all this other stuff and things that it was doing, I was like, they could have did a little bit better. But not a bad movie at all. I love the movie. Definitely go watch it again. I think I watched it like maybe 2 or 3 times in the theater. But yeah, that's my number 8.
I won't talk about it because it's going to be somewhere else on this list, so I won't say anything to it. My number 7 was Transformers 1.
Okay.
Now, initially, this one was at like 22 for me. But then when we were re-going through our lists, I was like, I've seen it multiple times. Like, well, not multiple. I've seen other people watching it, like reacting to it and stuff on YouTube. And the more I watch them watch it, the more I think more about it, and I go, "This is probably the best Transformers movie I've seen."
Okay.
Over any of the live actions, I enjoyed this more because it gave me what I wanted. I want Transformers who have actual character development, and it's a sad, tragic story of two brothers who you know where their fate leads to.
Right. It's
And
it's a little.
I really wish this movie would have done better in theaters because we are not going to end up getting a sequel to this.
Yeah, that's the only thing I hate about movies, bro. Like, I mean, I understand the studios got to make money, and either way, it's on my list, but it's a little higher. My 7th movie is Alien Romulus. I really, really, really love the Alien franchise. Alien Earth, I can't wait for that. I don't know how it's gonna be because it's still technically a Disney show, but I really hope they do well with Alien Earth. But Alien Romulus, to me, it was a lot of callbacks from like the first Alien movie, and they did put a little spin on it. I had a couple of gripes, but I enjoyed it enough to where when I left the theater, I was like, yes, I'm glad I saw this movie in the theater. So that's my number 7th choice.
I was gonna say this just to kind of like maybe calm your hype or your worry about the whole Alien Earth being a Disney thing. Prey is also technically a Disney thing.
Right, right. And that was awesome. That was awesome. And that's what I'm saying. Like I'm looking forward to it. I just hope they don't blow it.
My Alien was lower on my list. I think it was like 20 something, but I just happened to have enjoyed other movies a little bit more than that one. Also, I had a stomach issue when I saw that movie theater, so I was really more worried about not having an issue in my like not getting sick in the theater. So,
Right.
and I really just couldn't get past the deep fake they did with Ian Holm
Yeah.
in the movie. Spoiler: they put a dead person's face into the movie, and it
It's been
just
out
kind of
for a
didn't
while
work for me.
now. Yeah, it's been out for a while now. So if it's a spoiler for you, then sucks for you. But
My number 6 is Twisters,
okay.
which for me is a surprise because when they first announced this movie and they first showed a trailer for it back in Super Bowl of last year, my initial thought was this doesn't look like it's going to be that great. They managed to prove me wrong so much that I saw this movie 3 different times.
In the theater?
Twice in theaters,
Oh, okay.
once at home. But still, the fact that I watched it 3 times in 1 year, I don't do that very often with most movies.
Right.
I enjoyed the chemistry. I enjoyed the character development. I didn't enjoy them killing off a bunch of people in the beginning of the movie. Spoiler.
I agree.
But I enjoyed the story altogether, and I wouldn't expect them to make another one. but if they do, I won't be mad at it.
For sure. I don't even have that on my list. I did enjoy the film. Um, I have my gripes about it as always, but
What movie doesn't?
right. I would definitely watch it again. I haven't watched it again since the theaters, but I'll definitely watch it again. But yeah. So that was what your sixth choice?
Yeah.
My sixth choice is Bob Marley. I mean, for obvious reasons, but again, just to me, a nice, good, feel good movie. I learned some things about Bob Marley in that movie. I thought it was going to be a totally different movie. I thought it was going to be like just a legitimate like biopic about like beat for beat type deal, but it was a lot more than just that. If you haven't seen it, you need to definitely see it, and I'm definitely going to watch it again. I enjoyed it. I forget the guy's name who played Bob Marley, but phenomenal job.
I want to say his name was Kingsley Ben Adir.
That's him.
The only thing that I remember I mean, he's good in that. The problem is the other movie that showed up before that point. He was in Barbie as a Ken, and he was also in
Yeah,
Secret Invasion, which was not
Secret
great.
Invasion. Yeah,
Um,
but he killed it in Bob Marley.
Bob Marley was about 31 on my list.
Okay, not bad, not bad.
I enjoyed it. I just kind of like I felt like there's other, as always, there's always other movies that might be better or worse depending on where you see it.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. A lot of these movies on this list, even if they don't make in top 10, I would say all the way down to about 40 were movies that I enjoyed and thought were pretty good. But just, you know, sometimes you see so many movies that it's hard to choose.
Right.
My number 5 is Wicked, Part 1. Initially, this was like a number 2 for me.
Okay.
There are, I don't know if I can explain my other choices that are above it by this point, but I went into this movie with zero expectations. The trailers did nothing for me whatsoever. I've never watched the Broadway because I don't go to plays like our musical plays, things like that. And personally, I'd never heard of Cynthia Erivo. I think that's how you say her name, right? And I thought Ariana's a pretty good singer, but an actor, all I saw her on before that point was Victorious and Nickelodeon TV shows. So, that doesn't really give me enough to inspire, but she killed it. They both killed it. Jeff Bloom killed it. He actually toned down his weirdness that he usually
Right.
exudes. Michelle Yeoh, as always, is great. And the cast was stellar. The choreography, stellar. All the people complaining about the cinematography and how everything was overexposed or didn't look real or stuff. Who cares? It
It's Oz,
looks
bro.
great.
Right.
It's a Broadway movie made it's the closest I've ever felt to being in watching a real Broadway play.
Right, for sure.
And I'm excited for part 2, so it better not fail me.
I'm super excited. That's definitely on my list. But at 5, because I'm gonna have to go back and talk about that too. But at 5, I got Furiosa. At least for the year, Furiosa. It had everything I was expecting. Like it was awesome. Now we was talking about like movies that we've seen in theater and how many times we've seen it like since we saw. I think I've seen this movie like 5 or 6 times like since we've seen it in the theater. I only saw it in the theater once, but I've watched it like 5 or 6 times with like 5 or 6 different people. Like that's how much I enjoyed it that I wanted them to watch it with me. Action was fire. I always love. I don't remember her name at all, but like she
Anya
killed it.
Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy. She killed it. I mean, she normally always kill like whatever she's in. But yeah, that's my number 5 pick, Furiosa, and I will definitely watch it again.
That was my number 13 pick. It was below. It was below Inside Out 2 and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Gotcha.
I enjoyed it. I just didn't think I enjoyed it as much as Fury Road.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, if they was both on my list, then of course Fury Road would be like above Furiosa.
Right.
But
I mean, 13's still not bad considering everything
right.
we've seen. Um, number 4 on my list is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
I, unfortunately, because I'm so chronically online, knew about 90% of the spoiler or the cameos that were going to be in it prior to the movie, which I kept him shielded from because I'm not a dick.
Which I
And
appreciate.
um, going to see it opening day, it was the most excited I have been. It has one of the best openings for any movie with the weirdest song choice that somehow fits. Um, it was nice to see Hugh Jackman suited up as Wolverine finally. It was a culmination of all of this 20 years of Fox movies all rolled into this one. So much so for me that I can forgive most of the kind of inconsistencies in the plot.
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like the villain was good, had their moments, but also didn't really get a whole lot of script to chew on. So much so, and it is kind of like setting up the next big, continuously setting up to the next, big incursion in the Marvel universe, which is what we want. We want
Right.
stuff that's connecting and building up to this thing because you can't have a huge event if it's not built up properly. But the reason I have this number 4 and not 8 like you is because of the excitement that I had watching you get excited for the things that I already knew about, and it did not
That's awesome.
disappoint.
That's awesome.
Because when you saw Blade popping out for the first time, you were like,
Oh
"Oh,
my god!
you're like, no way!" But you said with
Right, for
expletives,
sure. Right, for
so
sure.
that's why it's my number 4.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. My number 4 is Wicked. Same thing with you. Like, never seen the Broadway play. Never read the book. Um, even seeing the trailer, like I was like, okay, this might be fire. And I was legit gonna make a Facebook post like as soon as I saw the trailer, and I was gonna say, you know what, like I hate Ariana Grande's character already, and I haven't seen the movie, but still kind of feel the same way. But they definitely did both do their thing, and the smile I had on my face leaving the theater, with it being a musical. I love musicals too. Well, I wouldn't say I love them, but I enjoy them. I will watch them. But
You're
with it
open
being
to
a
watching
musical,
them.
I'm open to watching them. With it being a musical and me not really knowing anything about the movie at all, the smile I had on my face, like the enjoyment that the movie gave me was like, oh my God, I gotta go and tell like everybody about this. Even though everybody already knew about it and the movie did really, really well. But definitely my top 4 pick.
I'll also put. You said, what did you say about Ariana? Like still didn't feel like completely sunk in.
Well, I didn't like her character as a character. Now clearly she's playing that character, but I can't explain it. It's like have you ever watched Ghost before with what is her name? Got Whoopi
Patrick
Goldberg
Swayze.
in it, Patrick Swayze.
Uh,
Like
no, I never watched it.
okay, well, I'm pretty sure you guys have watched it, but the bad guy from Ghost, like he's in the popular Scandal show. And when I saw Scandal and I saw him, I was like, F that guy. That's the guy from Ghost. Like, because like that's the character he played. So like although Ariana Grande is playing Glinda or
Galinda.
Galinda, like I don't know. She was just such like a douchebag in that movie that it made me like I don't like her character already. But she killed the portrayal. But yeah,
She killed it so much that not only is Cynthia Erivo getting an Oscar nomination for Best Actress, she is also getting a nomination for Best Supporting Actress.
fire, dope. That well deserved to be quite honest because it's a fire movie.
Now, my number 3 is one that I know you have not watched, but it is on my Vudu, so you can watch it if you choose to. Uh, it did not get any award nominations, I don't even know if hardly anyone saw this movie, but my number 3 pick is We Live in Time with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. It is
Okay.
a very emotional movie. Um, their chemistry, both of them, is fantastic. I love the way that the story is like kind of like normal stories. You know, you see the beginning of a relationship all the way to like if there is an end, you see it. Whereas this has like 3 different times in their lives,
Okay.
and they're all like you see one scene from this part, one from this part, one from this third part, and then it goes back and forth, but it does it so seamlessly that you kind of just like start getting all the emotions, and but you can still follow the story too. And
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
really enjoyed that. I've only seen it once. I have not taken a day to watch it again because I know what will happen if I watch it again. I will bawl my eyes out. So for now, I'm just going to leave it at number 3. It deserves the number 3 spot from me.
All right. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to check it out. Um,
Prepare to be sad.
my well, I might have to hold off then. I might watch it, but no time soon. But my third choice is Transformers. Transformers One. And again, it was just the way that it made me feel leaving the theater. It's just like you said, it's two bros, you know, you in the struggle together, and then you actually see how the big Optimus Prime and the big Megatron came to like dislike each other aside from like what we already know. So to watch that coming of age story, and I'm glad they did it in animation because it's only so much you could do with live action movies, having humans in it and all this other stuff. So for them to go the route of animation and the way they did it, and me seeing some of the characters, even at the end of the film, it was so fire to me. So that's my top three.
The only thing I will say about that movie, besides that, is we won, Transformers lost.
Right, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate.
I know. My number 2 pick is DreamWorks The Wild Robot.
Okay.
I saw this. So, to preface, we, as in where I'm at, we had just gone through like hurricane force winds. It was nothing had power, everything like that. It was just nature hitting our town pretty hard. But I ended up having to go an hour away so I could get gas because we ran out of all of our gas here for a while. The same weekend this movie came out, I went to a movie theater while I was an hour away to catch this to kind of get away from the reality of what was going on at the time. And this was a movie I saw. I didn't. I'll make this. This is a funny thing. I didn't really have emotions. Like I loved the movie, or I liked the movie when I first saw it, but I didn't like have any strong emotional like feelings about it. And then when I got it like a month later, I rewatched it, bawled my eyes out. And I was like, that's when I knew I'm like, this is a great movie. DreamWorks killed it.
I agree. I agree. I didn't see it in the theater, but I did watch it when you got it on Vudu, and I enjoyed it. I had to run it back a couple of times, but I could definitely see how it resonates with you. But it is definitely a well put together movie, and it's definitely emotional. So, but yeah,
I'm glad to know that it did so well enough that it's getting the sequel it deserves. And it's based off a
yeah,
book. That's a book series.
I had no idea.
Apparently the books are a lot more in depth. They're like 300-page
Of
books.
course, of course. My number two pick is the Book of Eli. Again, for obvious reasons.
Rephrase, think about what you just said out of your mouth.
What did I say?
You said the Book of Eli.
The Book of Clarence. The Book of Clarence.
Book of Eli came out in 2010,
and now,
my guy.
and now the
I
Book
never
of
watched
Eli
it.
is one of my favorite movies as well. It's definitely one of my favorite movies. But I misspoke. It's the Book of Clarence. Again, but either way, both those movies is intangible, interchangeable. They're both. But the Book of Clarence, obvious reasons. I love that movie because I'm spiritual. I guess I could say I'm religious, but I live in the aspect of, and I hope I don't lose any of you guys, but I feel like who you believe in is in your heart. And clearly, I know about the book, like the Bible and all this other stuff. But I feel like whatever your relationship is with who you believe in is your relationship with who you believe in, and you do what you do. But me watching the Book of Clarence, I say this a lot of times when we do reviews on movies, to where I love when the director and writer makes a smart movie. And to me, this movie was smart. It's a known tale that everybody knows about. It was a different take on it, and they peppered in things from our generation, our age, on the book that we already know about, which was fire. The casting was perfect. The acting was amazing. Even with what is his name? Benedict
Benedict
Cumberbatch being
Cumberbatch,
in with
or are you
him.
talking about? Was it him or was it James McAvoy that you're thinking, or were they both in it?
No, 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 no. They were both in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you still haven't watched it?
No, I saw it once when it came out. That was back in like January, and I don't remember
Oh,
any of it.
okay. But yeah, I think it's Benedict Cumberbatch. Like even the way they did him in the same well known story, and it was smart. It was genius. And again, like I love this movie. I love this movie. So again, that's the reason why it's my number two pick.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he play Jesus?
Yes.
I started. My brain was kept when you kept saying things, and I just kind of was like thinking. I'm like, what? He a part of Roman thing, and then immediately my brain flashed to him with a beard on the cross, and I was like, oh my god.
He was the one who kept asking people for money and kept asking them for change. And then when the when the real Jesus met him, and I hope you. I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But if you haven't seen it by now, like shame on you. But like he like blessed them to where money like just came out of his hands, and then they fixed him up, gave him a makeover, shaved his face or whatever. He looked like Jesus at that point, and then like everybody was like, "Oh my God, he's blessing everybody because he had like money just coming out of his hands." And it's like, so this is the reason why y'all think that Jesus is white, bro. The movie to me, like I say, the movie is smart. The way they did it, the music, everything. It's just a brilliant movie, man. I wish it would have got more exposure. A lot more people would have went out and like supported it the way they did Black Panther. But either way, I'm glad they put it out. I'm glad I enjoyed it. But again, that's the reason why it's my number two pick.
I'm gonna be honest here. When they first released the trailer for it, I was super intrigued by it. But what I thought it was going to be, because usually it's what I see Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah,
I think it's like
yeah,
what I normally see him in is these like more comedic like roles, and so I kind of like when I saw that I was like, oh, so they're gonna kind of do like a Monty Python situation where they kind of like do like kind of do it in a more of a parody way,
right.
but also be somewhat like religious and stuff. So when it actually came to watching it and it was not what I was expecting at all, it kind of like really took me out of it. And I don't think I enjoyed it because it was more serious.
Right. Gotcha. Understandable,
I'm not
but
a
I
super
enjoyed it.
religious person. I do like certain aspects of it, but like when it's the reason I don't see like movies that are faith based, like from
Right.
Angel Studios or whatever, which is like the Christian thing. I just don't really want to go watch a movie about religion for
No,
the
I
most
agree.
part. I mean, it's got to be like really good and intriguing for me to want to go see it.
Right. I did watch Passion of the Christ in the theater though.
I didn't watch that because I was 6.
like,
I was
Like a baby. For sure.
Um, let's see. I feel like I have to give one more honorable mention because I don't think a lot of people saw it.
Okay.
Anora with Mickey Madison. It came out in October. I don't know if you. Let me see if I can pull this up. Sorry, guys. I know I'm doing like a kind of like thing, but like.
Oh no, I don't even think I even knew about that.
So it was a Neon Pictures movie, and it's not on my list because the movie made me feel really weird when I watched it, but like it's well shot. I think she did a phenomenal job. It's getting nominated for a lot of awards. It's nominated for Best Picture this year, mind you.
Oh wow.
It's not what you would expect it to be. It's instead of it being like a huge plot driven movie, it kind of like starts off with some plot, but then like half of them, like the rest of the movie, is just kind of like you get a slice of life of what this person's life is like, and
Gotcha.
it takes you on that journey. So like you're almost inserted into the character's life for a day, which is a really
Okay.
interesting concept. I think you would like it though. Fair warning, it is an R-rated movie. There is nudity. There is language. It's literally about a prostitute. She's a prostitute
You
or a
had
stripper in the movie.
you had me
So
you had me at nudity and prostitute.
right after he talks about a religious movie.
Do you have it on Vudu?
Before, no.
Okay.
I think it might be streaming somewhere though. So look out for that.
I'll try to find it.
Or see, they might re-release it in the theaters.
I'll at least watch
My
the trailer.
number one. We're gonna get you to watch it before the Oscars. My number one movie of the year, and this has pretty much been the number one for most of the year for me. Granted, I did read the book all the way through, and I ended up reading several of the books after this point. Is Dune Part 2.
Okay.
This was the most excited movie that I had anticipated for last year because of how much I liked the first one. And I liked the first one a lot. But I also read the whole book, so I know what was going to happen after that. And this movie did not disappoint with how it ended with the second part, and it made me like what I already liked about the first part more. All the action you want, all of the storytelling, and I thought honestly, granted some people still didn't get the message by the end of the second one. I like the fact they didn't shy away from everything, going, hey, this guy is not a hero. He is the villain of this story, but he's a villain not by choice, or he will
Right.
become one. He's not this epic hero who saves all these people. He's going after revenge for the people that killed his family. There's nothing heroic about that. But all the set pieces were great. I wish they would have gotten into the Chani and like romance with them more, because there is way more in the book than they put into the movie. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't read the book. The time when they escape and get into like the Fremen group, and the time they actually attack is like 4 years or so, or no, it's about 2 years. They already his mom already had the kid by the time that they went to war with them. And Chani was like his ride or die. Like she was so in for everything that he was going for. She didn't question him when he decided to. She was actually the one who, in the book, told him, "You need to take the princess as your concubine, because it'll be better," instead of just going, "I'm gonna walk away." That was the only dumb choice in the entire movie for me. Gotcha. But I get why they did it. She's like the audience going, this guy is not the same person he was. So I understand why they did it, but I still think it's kind of a dumb choice considering this way the third movie is going to go. But yeah, that's my number one, because I went to like a fan event that was like 5 or 6 days before the movie actually came out. no movies usually ever get packed in my hometown or in my
Right.
town here. That movie was completely full. The
Yeah, I
only thing I
remember you
didn't
telling
get
me
was a popcorn bucket, but at least I have this one.
that. Let's go. Well, yeah. My number one pick, again, of course, for obvious reasons, is Piece by Piece, the Lego Pharrell biopic. Um, Again, it was the feeling that I had when I was in the theater. Now, it was normally we see the movies on Thursdays when they actually come out on Fridays. So when I was in the theater, it was only like maybe a handful of us. To be fair, maybe like 8 or 9 people. But like if you were like a fly on the wall or just another person there and you could see me like by myself on like an entire row by myself, like geeking out like every time a song come on and he's like saying what he did to make this song and like how he came up the way he came up. I was in there legit geeking out, like singing every song and like bopping around. And when I left the theater, like I wanted to buy the movie like right then and there, bro. I think a couple of days after that, I asked you, like, hey, yeah, I was like, bro, like I gotta buy this movie, man. But
While you're talking about it, you should show your Lego set off.
oh yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah, I do have the Lego set right there. I would
Piece
go
by
and get
piece
it,
Lego set.
but I don't wanna take it off at the ledge.
No,
But I
don't do
love
that.
it. But I love it. Yeah.
Oh, you
Super,
got the other
super,
one too.
super. Yeah. Can you see it?
I could barely see it. That's the love one that you can make in Lego form. You just haven't found a place to put it yet.
Right there. Yeah, I just haven't found a place to put it yet. So, but yeah, I love that one too. But yeah, that's my number one. That's my number one pick, man. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna buy that movie tomorrow. I'm gonna buy Piece by Piece because they don't have like a steel book or anything. So I'm gonna just buy it
It's not in 4K.
on my Apple joint. So
Um, well, that's our top 10 of the year. I'm going to go ahead and put it out on a limb. I think Wicked is probably, considering that our Wicked rankings were the closest out of all of them to the top, I think we're going to have to name Wicked as the number one movie of 2024.
I'll give it to you because yeah, yours was number 5 and mine was number 4. So
Yeah.
I feel comfortable with saying that was the best movie of the year.
I'm okay with that. Now, see, I was kind of sad as soon as you said Dune was like your honorable mention, because then I was like, oh, shoot, that's not going to work.
It's not going to be close at all.
No, that one's not going to get the spot.
Nah, but I enjoyed Dune 2 though. I enjoyed Dune 2.
I'm excited for the third one.
Yeah, it was just as you were saying. I just felt like it was, in my opinion, a couple of things was a little bit better.
Piece by Piece for me was was right above Smile 2, so it was like 22.
Okay, but yeah,
But I did have Godzilla
but
above it.
right. But see, those movies hit different for us, and that's why I love our channel because we got totally different backgrounds. I'm older than you are, so like the dynamic between the both of us is fire. Like you read the book, you love the book. Like with me with Pharrell, like I love music. Not saying that you don't love music, but like yeah, I just love the channel, man.
We'll find out if I really like music here pretty soon. That's a tease.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We got something new for you guys. Let's go.
We just got to record it.
Yeah,
but
it's coming soon though.
It is. But that is our top 10 of the year. But until next time, guys, it's been your boy Jay.
Chantel.
And this is the Movie Minute.